I am now going to show you how to measure current in both AC current and DC current. Now, current is a flow of an electrical charge, but when known at a specified voltage can also be used to work out the power of an item by counting the current by the voltage. Now I shall start with DC current measurement, and I first take my black test lead / test probe and plug it into the COM port labelled COM, like we did with the voltage measurement. And then I take my red test lead and plug it into the milliamp port if I'm measuring current up to 200 milliamps, or the 10A port if I'm measuring currents over 200 milliamps but under or up to 10 amps. So in this case, I'll be measuring the current of a PIR, what will roughly be 10 milliamps, so I'll plug it into the milliamp port. Now basically, there's two ports, one for measuring low current sources, one for measuring high current sources. Up to 200 milliamps in the MA port, over 200 milliamps in the 10 amp port. So that's the basics. I now obviously turn my multimeter on and select the current range I want to measure. In this case, 20 milliamp DC, as it's a DC source and it's going to roughly take 10 milliamps. And then I simply splice my multimeter in the middle of the circuit to get the current, and as you'll see, my PAR is currently taking 8.42 milliamps, so it's flowing down through the multimeter to the PAR, then back through the circuit to complete the circuit. And that is how you measure DC current. Now to measure AC current is the same sort of thing, but in this case I'll be measuring the current of a soldering iron, what is over 200 milliamps. So I take the red test probe and plug it in a 10A port, and then select my dial to 10 amp AC voltage here. And then again, I've got this thing here what splices the circuit on the live wire. And if I put it in here, you will see my soldering iron is currently taking up 0.1 amp, what will change as it gets hotter. Anyway, that is the basics for measuring current. One last thing to point out, it's important to never measure more current than your multimeter can handle. In this case, my multimeter can only handle 10 amps, so if I try to measure more current than that, such as putting these both in the socket, you can damage your multimeter, and in worst case scenarios, the multimeter may explode or catch fire. So just a little safety precaution, never measure any more current than your multimeter can handle, in case it's not fused. But next I'll be covering resistance, so yeah, that's how you measure DC and AC current.